We have playoff football coming this week. How about it? An honorary game ball goes to all the athletic directors, coaches, parents, and athletes that have all played a part in getting to this point in the season. Perhaps the most challenging season in state history. Hi again, everyone. Jody Norstead here, ready to announce another list of 10 top performers along with our Midco SN game ball winners sponsored by Farmers Union Insurance. And this week, the winner is the locomotive from the capital city. Isaiah Huus got loose time and time again in a big win over Jamestown. The state's leading rusher in Class 3A is getting the hardware this week ahead of Wednesday night's big showdown with rival Bismarck Century. As for the top performers list, well, these two helmets are represented among the Select 10. A little love for Grant County Flasher and Harvey Wells County. The Hornets picked up a big win this week to punch their ticket to the playoffs. More on that in a bit. Let's get to it. Elick of North Prairie earns a top performer spot for the first time after combining for 6 touchdowns in a win over St. John on Friday night. The win helped the Cougars avoid a first-round date with powerhouse Lemoore-Litchville-Marion. Instead, they'll get Mayport CG. Elick passed for $120 and rushed for nearly 190 yards. The senior will need to be sharp again on Saturday against the high-scoring Patriots. Max Fear was nominated this week and very deserving of a spot on the list after carrying the ball 40 times and carrying his team to victory over 5th-ranked Central Cass. Fear piled up 183 yards on the ground, scoring twice, helping the Highliners defeat the Squirrels 18-14. The win helped keep Valley City's playoff hopes alive, but the Highliners face East Region leading Hillsborough Central Valley on Saturday. Here's a name that's been on the list a time or two. Bishop Ryan standout Jackson Feller scored on half of his 10 carries in the 48-0 blowout win over Garrison Max. Feller also added 40 receiving yards and 7 tackles on defense. The Lions host Killdeer in the playoff opener. We'll see if Bishop Ryan can fight its way back to the Dakota Bowl for a second consecutive season. This next guy has had a heck of a season. Grant County Flasher junior quarterback Jace Freeze led his team to a 28-26 win over Linton HMB, clinching the top seed in that so tough Region 4. Freeze completed 10 of his 13 passes for 123 yards and a touchdown, adding 7 tackles on defense. But his biggest play came in the final moments. He led the game-winning drive and capped it off with this 5-yard touchdown run with 15 seconds left. Back-to-back wins against ranked opponents to finish the season. Are you kidding me? The Storm hosts TGU on Saturday. Jumping to the 3A level, Davies clinched a home playoff game behind Austin Harmson's rushing performance in the 42-27 win over Shanley. Harmson followed the big boys up front, rushing for 158 yards and a pair of touchdowns. The Eagles continue to get it done with rushing and defense, which is a pretty good formula for playoff football. Cheyenne clinched the top seed in the EDC for a 3rd straight year by beating up on South. The Mustangs' defensive line duo of Abe Hestalin and Cole Menz terrorized the South backfield all night, combining for 4 sacks in the 42-14 win over the Bruins. That's not all. Menz and Hestalin are each on 4-game sack streaks. They've combined for 12 sacks over the last 4 contests, 7.5 for Hestalin and 4.5 for Menz. I don't know if they have a nickname yet, but Wild Horses or Sack Stallions would seem to fit. This next guy is the only one on the list that has quarterbacked his team to 34 consecutive wins. That number is insane. So are the career stats for Simon Rumfolk. Friday night, he added to his totals, completing 13 of 17 passes for 175 yards and 3 touchdowns. He also rushed for 70 yards and a score in the Cardinals' 45-6 win over 5th-ranked Grafton. Ho-hum. Yes, it doesn't seem to matter the opponent. The Cardinals blow out everybody. They begin postseason play hosting Thompson Saturday. We'll see if they can march their way back to the Dome and go for a 3-peat. Here's another combo performer. Blake Schaefer and Des Monzero were terrific for Wahpeton on Friday night. Schaefer passed the ball 55 times, completing over 30 passes for a school record 405 yards. 3 of his 4 touchdown passes went to Monzero, who finished with 13 catches and 188 yards. Monzero also added 8 tackles and a pick on defense. The only problem for the Huskies is that they lost a 1-point game to Devils Lake 27-26. And a big reason why the Firebirds won was the ground game, spearheaded by sophomore Colton Schneider. Schneider turned 26 carries into 184 yards and a trio of scores. That and his 8.5 tackles on defense reserved him a spot on the top performers list this week. Congrats to the Firebirds on a very important win. The 10th man on the list played a huge role in locking up a playoff spot for his team. Junior Madden Thorson scored a pair of rushing touchdowns, added a touchdown catch, and why not throw in a pick six on defense? He helped spark the Hornets to a 58-26 win over West Hope Newburgh Glenburn. With a name like Madden, you have to be good at football, right? The win helped the Hornets secure the 4th seed in Region 2 after things were sorted out by tiebreakers. Meanwhile, we didn't need any tiebreakers this week to decide who gets this. The game ball going to Isaiah Huus, who has been deserving all season, and now he gets the hardware to prove it. The Bismarck High bruising running back rushed for 240 yards and 3 touchdowns on just 17 carries in the 62-35 win over Jamestown. He's averaging around 13 yards per carry, by the way. Huus also became the first rusher in Class 3A to surpass the 1,000-yard milestone for the season. He's up to about 1,200 yards on the season and 21 touchdowns. He's made the most of his opportunities running behind that dominant and skilled offensive line. Now the biggest challenge of the season awaits against top-ranked Bismarck Century in the regular season finale. That game happening tonight shortly after we're posting this, a 7 p.m. kickoff on Midco Sports Network. Congrats to Huus and the Demons and to all those on our top performers list. Keep the nominations coming. We'll see you next week.